It's been more than a week since Texas A&M reneged on an offer to Kathleen McElroy, a distinguished professor of journalism, a graduate of the university as well. And it's led to a lot of outrage among black former students and others as well who are not black. Of course, I called on football players not to sign with Texas A&M as part of this until the Board of Regents apologizes to her, until they put the original deal back on the table. Black state legislators have also not been happy with what has taken place. Ron Reynolds, he's the chair of the Texas Black Caucus, state representative there in Houston. Representative Reynolds, glad to have you here. What have you heard from University President Kathleen Banks, from Chancellor John Sharp of the Board of Regents about what the hell happened here? How they would listen to a group of right-wing white conservatives who don't like diversity, equity, inclusion, which has nothing to do with her being hired?
Roland, first of all, Frat, thank you for speaking truth to power and having this platform for us to really educate the masses on many of the critical issues facing our state and our country. And to your question, I have a meeting with Senator West tomorrow with President Banks. We requested that meeting because we were outraged, and to be quite frankly with you, we were pissed off and disgusted with the treatment by this distinguished lady who is really a excellent professor. She is world-renowned and really was going to upgrade the journalism department at Texas A&M. So we're not going to appease these MAGA folks. The Board of Regents did a terrible job in the way that they treated her. And I echo with the Texas Legislative Black Caucus your anger, your disgust, and your outrage. And we must continue to be the conscious to make sure that we don't normalize this behavior, because this is a slippery slope. And A&M today with Dr. McElroy, and it could be other universities tomorrow, because this is a anti-DEA, what these folks call woke movement, and this is permeating throughout states all across this country.
Nutcases, they were following the lead of this right-wing website that claimed, oh, we exposed who this person really was. You're talking about you were upset with the kind of stories that she covered because she has advocated for diversity in media, which is needed. Now, here's what's also hilarious. These same clueless Aggies, the reason they want the journalism department to return, because they felt that if there were more Aggie journalists, A&M would be getting better coverage in news media. I know that because they were saying that stuff when I was there, and when the department left. Well, these yahoos don't understand when you screw over frankly, what I would say the top pick in the entire state. Who the hell would want to come there when you have fools like this impacting who the university hire?
Absolutely. These were some right-wing white supremacists. I'm just going to call it what it is. That's what they promulgated. There was no merit to the arguments that they made. Diversity is our strength. And this professor wasn't some militant Black Panther Party activist. She wasn't that. Even if she was very qualified, but that's not who she was. She spoke and covered certain issues that were factually relevant. There are many disparities. So are you saying that anybody who covered disparities shouldn't be hired?
All right, hold tight 1 second. Looks like his signal froze, so let me know when we get Representative Reynolds back. Talk about this here. The University Board of the Board of Regents are meeting right now in Park City, Utah. They'll be meeting again on August 17th. This is the Board of Regents. They're the ones who played a huge role in this and has raised lots of questions regarding the leadership. Do we have Representative Reynolds back? Okay, we got you back, Representative Reynolds. Go ahead and finish your comment.
Oh, okay. How's that? We
got you. Go ahead, Representative Reynolds. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roland, I'm saying that shame on this Board of Regents for embracing this nonsense. We see it permeating throughout the country with Senator Tuberville. We've seen it on the floor of the United States Congress from a U.S. congressman referring to blacks as colored people. And now we see the Board of Regents acquiescing some right-wing MAGA white supremacists. This is not the most diverse state in the country. Texas has more African Americans than any other place. A&M should be ashamed. They owe this professor an apology. And I call on black athletes, just as you stated, just like Gary Bledsoe from the Texas State NAACP, to think about going to institutions like Texas A&M. Think about, they want us on their fields, running touchdowns, and on a basketball court, slamming basketballs, and on the track and field fields. They want us there for titles and championships. But if they can't respect us in the classroom and in the boardroom, then they don't need to respect us on the football field. So I'm outraged, and I think that now is the time. This is a clarion call, and I think it's time for parents to think about where they want to send their kids to school. And A&M, until they do right by this professor, then we need to send them a loud statement that not on our watch will we allow them to go backwards. We're going forwards. We're not going back. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us to end Jim Crow racial discrimination, and this is modern day racial discrimination. Well, and again, the point there when you talk about look, I keep saying they love DEI on Saturday afternoons. They got no problem when you're trying to recruit black athletes. And what I keep saying is this is a woman who is a graduate of the university. And when you screw her, what you're saying is to black former students, oh, we want you to come here, provide your talents, but then when you go away and excel in your profession, you're not welcome back on this campus. That's what that was, and what President Kathleen Banks needs to do, what Chancellor John Sharp needs to do, and this Board of Regents needs to do. They need to answer to all of the black folks in Texas who are taxpayers. I still own my home in Texas. My family is still there. Our money goes to the institution. Why did they allow a small cabal of right-wing white conservatives to dictate the actions? And the other piece is, if you're the Board of Regents, why in the hell are you so involved in a position that's so far down? We're not talking about an executive member of the university cabinet. We're not talking about somebody who was for the dean of the College of Liberal Arts. We're not talking about, first of all, there wasn't even no journalism department. She's there to rebuild it. So why are they that involved in such a minute personnel move? That shows to me that's also a problem with the Board of Regents. And Roland, you're exactly right. And those are the questions that I intend to pose tomorrow to President Banks. I'm going to ask that question unequivocally, and I want answers. There needs to be accountability. What happened to Kathleen is it's not only an embarrassment to you and other alums, but this is an affront to black Texans and professionals. This shows what our fears were when they passed this anti-DEI legislation in Senate Bill 17, this anti-tenure bill from, quote, keeping woke professors out of colleges and universities in Senate Bill 18. This is exactly what we thought. So this is not an unintended consequence. This is the way that it was designed. And we need to push back. We need to demand that there is change and accountability from President Banks, from Chancellor Sharp, and from the Board of Regents. This is a public university. This is not some private school. Even if it was, that wouldn't be acceptable. But our tax dollars are helping supplement this, not only from the state level, from the federal level. I believe you were right in your earlier call for the Justice Department and the Secretary of Education to intervene. And I'm asking the Congressional Black Caucus to look at this matter so that we can collaborate with the Texas Legislative Black Caucus and the Texas State NAACP. And I hope that other people of good conscience will join us from LULAC and MALDEF and other organizations in the Urban League to say, hey, not on our watch will we allow this to happen to this sister, because if it happens to her today, it could be any of us tomorrow. Indeed. State Representative Ron Reynolds, certainly let us know how that meeting goes tomorrow with the president of Texas A&M, Kathleen Banks.